Have you ever seen Mr. Smith Goes to Washington with Jimmy Stewart? The climactic scene where Jimmy Stewart, as Mr. Smith, is filibustering, is pouring his heart out in the Senate chamber. He confronts his adversary. He swears to continue, and he spoke for hours on end. And of course, the climax, he faints, he falls away out of exhaustion. That's the image of filibuster that I've had most of my adult life. And we've talked on the show multiple times about how that filibuster has been perverted. That today it's possible to filibuster bills just by saying, we're not going to agree with it, we don't like it, we got enough votes. But I got to tell you, we are getting a first-hand example of what the filibuster was created for and the reason it's there and how it should be done. Today, Senator Rand Paul is filibustering the nomination of John Brennan to CIA director. Not so much about Mr. Brennan, but about the administration's policy in regards to drone strikes, and in particular about drone strikes in the U.S., or the idea that the government can kill American citizens on American soil without due process. The idea of the filibuster was that the minority party, if they felt something was so egregious that was trying to be passed or that was going on, but they had no power because they didn't have the votes, the minority party could stand up and say, whoa, wait a second, this cannot go. And they would stand up, be counted, and talk until a conclusion was reached. Senator Rand Paul has been talking now since noon. He's trying to get the administration to clarify what they said. In letters to the Attorney General, the question was raised, can American citizens be killed on American soil by the government without due process? And rather than what we would expect, a resounding no, short letter, have a good day, what we got was fudging, was that the Eric Holder, the Attorney General, and the administration's position is that they might be able to see a situation where the government would have the right to kill an American citizen on American soil. Now, of course, this is all in the context of terrorism. It's all in the context of protecting Americans. But the Constitution says you can't do that. So where do we go? How do we address that? Now, honestly, I can't imagine a situation where we would, I think, all justify killing an American citizen on American soil without due process. And you're like, whoa, what are you talking about? Let me give you an example. This actually was a question from my mother. When they drove the truck full of explosives into the parking garage at the Oklahoma City bombing, if there had been a drone who could have seen into that truck and saw the explosives and knew that it was going to momentarily blow up the building and kill all those people, I don't think any of us would have said, no, you can't take that guy out right there. The imminent threat that could not actually be stopped in another way. That, I think, is something that we could say. If there's a man who pulls off his jacket in the middle of Times Square with bombs strapped to his chest and he's getting ready to pull that cord, I don't know that we would have a problem with a police officer shooting him so he couldn't do it. But the question is, how far back does that go? Would we justify a drone strike on the truck as it left where they loaded all the explosives on? I don't think so. The problem with the administration's answer is that it sounds like they get to make that decision. And it sounds like we don't have surety. The administration needs to answer that. They need to clarify that. And they need to reaffirm that the government does not have the right to kill American citizens on American soil without due process, unless it's in the immediate threat of death and harm to other American citizens. So I applaud Senator Rand Paul. I don't agree with the senator on a lot of things. But I applaud the senator for standing up and doing what he can to hold the administration's feet to the fire. I applaud him, and I say to you, call your senators and demand that they get from the president the answer. And I say, call the White House. Tell them to explain exactly what they mean. And while we're doing this, let's kind of ask about the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012 and 2013 that allow for the indefinite detention of American citizens. Oh yeah, there's some language in there that clarifies it, it makes it less thing. How about we just go back and say the Constitution says you can't do that? There has to be the process of law. How about we demand that that happen? How about we demand from our senators and representatives that they go ahead and pass binding legislation, not just yearly, but a permanent legislation that reaffirms the Constitution. All right, we're going to talk more on next week's show about the kill zone, the kill list, drones, and whether American citizens can be murdered by their government. But this is just a time I wanted to thank Senator Rand Paul. You can listen to this and other things on canigetawordin.com. Go to our Facebook page, Another Voice with Jason and Eric, and like us. Follow us there. Go to iTunes. Subscribe to Another Voice with Jason and Eric. If you're in the Greenville area, and you're looking for lunch or dinner, go to Little Pigs at Hudson Corner, 244-1090, 2428 Hudson Road. Fantastic barbecue, great sides, and the best sweet tea, in my knowledge, in the upstate. Little Pigs Barbecue, Hudson Corner. Until next time,